When you decided not to go to Mizzou, why was Arizona the place for you?
It was really, so I had my first phone call with the Dia a few minutes after I announced my decommitment. So it was really special that she was one of the first coaches that called me out of a lot of those that did that day. And I really enjoyed my conversation with her and Coach Bett. So I was going over with my parents, and we were like, we're gonna schedule a visit. We loved it, did some research. We loved how supportive the fan base was and all the different things that Dia and her staff has accomplished, and I want to be a part of that.
Coming so far from home, I mean, did you think about that at all as an issue?
No, I didn't mind going across the country. I knew I would miss my family, but I know they're always a phone call away and that they're supportive. If I ever need anything, they will be on the flight in an instant to come if I ever need anything. And I kind of like being in a different environment. It's something different for me. I've never really been in a hot area before, so adjusting to the weather was something, but I really enjoy it. I really enjoy my time here.
And I talked to you right before your first regular season game at McHale, and we haven't talked since then. So what's it been like for this regular season? You had a couple games on your belt here, and then you went to the tournament. How do you think things are coming along for you?
They were rough at first because I was just coming back from a concussion, so it was kind of rough getting my groove back. Especially, I felt like, because as a freshman, it's kind of hard getting your groove back at such a different level because everybody's older, faster, stronger. So I feel like that was really difficult for me to get myself back in my groove. So I think in the Bahamas when I really kind of had my little breakthrough in my game because I was finally able to make a disruptions on defense but also get my offense going. So that was a good step for me and get my confidence back.
Coach, your high school coach, Coach Harper and Coach Barnes, they both said that you don't really put your head down if your shot's not falling. You try to find your way to make an impact in other ways. Is that something you've always had, just trying to find that way, or is that something that you've developed over time?
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to set my emotions aside because I want to be great. I always want to do everything perfect, but I know in basketball that's not going to happen. Like, you're not going to always shoot 100 for 100. Like, that's just not going to happen. That's not realistic. So instead of trying to, when I try not to put my head down, try to do something on defense, because I'm long, I'm fast, I'm quick, so I can be destructive and make a little chaos on the court on defense. So that's kind of my goal if my offense isn't going.
You mentioned obviously you had the concussion. What was that like for you? Had you ever gone through one of those and kind of getting through it?
It was rough because I couldn't go to the exhibition game because of the light, the noise, everything. It was really hard for me to not be around my teammates for practice and not being able to practice and be with them. So that was kind of a really hard spot for me.
In terms of just what was that like for obviously that was that time you guys were going through a lot of different injuries and they're down to 5 players for the one game. What was that like inside the locker room to know that, man, the girls that have to go out there don't have any backup for them early?
I commend them. They went out there and they gave it their all, and that's why I feel like we're such a good tight group because we know that even if we're not all physically there, we all have each other's back, and I'm just proud that they went out there and did that with 5 people because that's something really hard to do.
Adia said that you get down on yourself a lot. I mean, how do you work through that? How are you trying to I make a mistake, let's just move on?
Well, I talked to Adia a lot about this. She always keeps telling me that I'm young. I'm on the youngest on the team. I'm 18. And I'm experiencing something totally different than high school. It's not the same. It's not the same competition, the same type of girls. These are grown pro athletes that some of them could go pro. So I have to understand that everything's not gonna come at one time. It's a process. So I'm really trying to understand that and come to terms with it. But I think as the games go on, I think I'm starting to understand that better.
And as a freshman, there are going to be ups and downs. Like you went through the concussion thing, and then you finally break through. Besides Coach Adia, who I know sounds like you've talked to a lot about this, is there maybe an upperclassman who's really sort of helped you during this time?
Ed's nicest in Helena. I talk to them all the time. They always be telling me how I'm gonna be great I'm gonna be great. I have all the skills and the talent to do it. I just have to get more confidence in myself and stop doubting myself and my abilities. And when I hesitate, that's when I mess up. So I talk to them a lot about that because they've been through this before. They felt the same thing I felt before. So it's good to have those upperclassmen to talk to.
And when you broke through in that game in the Bahamas, what sort of does it just happen, or was there something that you intentionally did to make that happen?
Well, I didn't play in the game before the Ole Miss game, so I wanted to tell myself, like, the moments that I'm out there, I have to do something to make an impact so I can stay on the floor as much as possible. So that's really what was going in through my head. And then Adia talked to me as soon as she saw me, she was like, just be confident, don't overthink and everything. So that's why I did. I try not to overthink, and it worked in my favor. So now I'm just going to try not to overthink and not put my head down. See how that goes for me.
And it sounds like Coach Adia has really, I mean, she talks to you a lot, right? And it sounds like she's always giving you tips. How does this help for you to have a coach who's so involved in your development, game by game, day by day?
It makes me feel like I picked the right place to be, that somebody's so invested in me. Even when I feel like I'm not at my best and at my lowest, she's still encouraging me. And that's how makes me feel like I really did choose the right place to come here. Even Coach Diaz, Salvo, Vet, Turner, all of them, like, they're all just such great people, and they always make sure that we're okay. Even with our mental health as well.
Skylar, what's your background in terms of, when you started playing basketball, what made you fall in love with it?
I was a cheerleader. I was a cheerleader. I had no intention of playing basketball until my sister took me to a gym and just started dribbling with me when I was in like 4th grade. So then I kind of liked it a little bit. Not really. I like it's too much for me. But my dad put me in small fry to play with boys. And then that's when I started to fall in love with it, because then I started really like to be a little good, because they used to rough me up like really bad. So then I just started playing with small fry, and then that's just when it took off around, like, I played my first AAU game in like 5th grade, and then just took off from there.
What was kind of his mindset to put you in with boys at that age?
I have no idea. I need to ask him that, because I don't know why he would do that to me.
So when you guys, I know you didn't play in that Ole Miss game, but as a team, when you lose that game, it's the first game you've lost all season, in this early part of the season. And then Coach Adia has you sit and watch how to, figure out how to get through the zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Crack that code. What was it for you guys to come together then and win that next game? Because that's hard, right?
Yeah.
Especially turning it over like 24 hours later or less than 24 hours later.
So after the game, we watched film for like 3 hours, and then she turned the whole projector off and said, we're not talking about it no more, like, we're done, we went over film, we're not gonna drown on it, we have a game tomorrow. And then that's what happened. We really just flipped the page. We worked on how to get through the zone, how to drive into it, collapse people, pass the ball, hit the post. And that's what we did the next day, and it really worked out really great. We worked on that for a good hour and a half, maybe. The time we have for practice, we worked on breaking the zone. And then we just forgot about the game before.
What do you think it is about this group that you were able to do that and do that so quickly?
Because we're all I feel like we're all on the same page. We all want the same goal. We all want to win. So I think we're all able to put the loss behind us so we could get the next win, so we can get back on our winning streak.
This group of freshmen, I mean, what do you think is so special about the group as a group?
We're all dogs. We all hungry. We all want it. Even Mate, even though she's out, she still wants it. She's still lifting. She does non-contact. She goes hard. Brea is just a beast in the post. Nobody's stopping that. Jada's just a leader. She always is talking and everything. And once our offensive shots fall like Brea, I think we're all going to be good. We're all just really close, and we're all, how do I say this? We're all supportive of each other. We're all very supportive of each other and everybody's accomplishments. I feel like that's what makes us so close. And I'm so glad we're all here together.
How nice was it to kind of just see the shot fall for Jada in that last game, because she'd been struggling so much?
Oh, we were so happy. We were all jumping on the bench and everything, because this is something that she's been wanting for so long. And we're just so happy that she got it, because we knew her time was going to come. And we're just glad it happened in the Bahamas and she had to break through. So hope it keeps on going for sure.
And what has this week, you've had it's gonna be 10 days off, I think, before the UNLV game. So you came back and you just started working on things, right? What does it look like for this past week or so for you?
Just for me or the team in general?
For the team in general.
For the team, we've been working on, breaking the zone, how to defend certain people on their team, forcing people left, forcing people right. Really just emphasizing the details of how to beat UNLV and how to, and we worked on adding a few more plays and things like that. Just really expanding things on our game and on our team. So I think that's really what we're doing.
Are there any players that you've aspired to play like growing up in Chicago? Are there any?
Not really, but I love Aja Wilson. I love her game so bad. I love Candace Parker's games too. I love a lot of WNBA players. NBA players, I love KD and Giannis. They're just so long and lanky mid guards. So I feel like that's kind of what I am in a way, but I just love the way they play.
And how do you think that that the team looks different from the last game you played in the Bahamas to what you're gonna look like against UNLV, because that's a
Yeah.
long time to work on yourselves.
Like I said, I think we're all more on the same page, and we're all on the same page, and we're also using each other's strengths to our advantage. I think that's what we've really been working on this week as well.
Anything else for Skylar? Awesome, thank you.
Thanks.